How do you top your love for your cat? With a cascade of decadent savory gravy over a mouth-watering mousse pâté. Fancy Feast gems. 2 gourmet pâtés in one convenient pack. Simply peel and plate to reveal a pyramid shape that makes eating delightful and pamper her with an experience as extraordinary as she is. Turn the everyday into the extraordinary with Fancy Feast gems.
Wish you could become a morning person? You know the type, up before the sun, early morning runs, first one to the office with donuts and a smile. How do they do it? Easy. With the new Galaxy Watch 8, sleep tracking and personalized insights from Samsung Health help you improve so you can wake up to a whole new you. One who, dare I say it, skips the snooze? It's possible. Train your sleep with Galaxy Watch 8. Learn more at Samsung.com. Requires compatible Samsung Galaxy phone, Samsung Health app, and Samsung account.
For a limited time at McDonald's, get a Big Mac extra value meal for $8. That means 2 all-beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun, and medium fries, and a drink. We may need to change that jingle.
Prices and participation may vary.
This podcast is supported by FX's English Teacher. Last year's critically acclaimed series returns to follow Evan, Gwen, and Marky as they vie for their students' divided attention. See why Cosmopolitan called its premiere season a masterclass of comedy, while Glamour raved it's the year's funniest and most heartwarming new comedy series. FX's English Teacher, all new Thursdays on FX. All episodes now streaming on Hulu.
This episode is brought to you by Nespresso and Samra Origins by the Weekend Coffee Collection.
Introducing Samra Origins. My collaboration with Nespresso is a connection to my roots, to my mother, Samra. Coffee that hits the right notes. It transports you. Crafted with unique notes and bold soaring flavors. Experience a taste that moves you. Nespresso and Samra Origins.
Discover more at Nespresso.com.
Tom, are you ready for season 19 of Top Chef?
I am so ready, Kevin. It feels like years since the Portland season. Let's go!
This is Pack Your Knives. I'm Kevin Arnovitz.
And I'm Tom Haberstroh.
Tom, Top Chef has been on for more than half of your life.
Oh, no. Is that true?
I think so.
Yeah, it's more than half my life. Yeah, now that you mention it.
It's crazy. Not more than half my life, unfortunately, because I'm 71. But Tom,
well, like a 71-year-old, you forgot your USB cord or something. You're on the road, so this is kind of an exhibition for us. It's not officially Top Chef season yet. The show hasn't premiered, so we're kind of working out the kinks, right, Kevin?
Yes, I have a little Pack Your Knives business to handle beforehand. Tom, do you know where I had dinner on Tuesday night?
Well, you were in Chicago.
Yes.
Please tell me you went to Joe Flam's new restaurant.
I went to Joe Flam's Rosemary in the Fulton Market area and had one of the great meals of the year. Absolutely delectable. Every single dish. The Brussels sprouts with a trout roe. That's like kind of the seared tuna tartare. The squid ink risotto. The porcini mushroom. Is it anelati, I think? And the caciawi pepe. So simple, so beautiful. And then I got a really nice duck breast for dinner.
Oh, man, that sounds so good. I'm so excited for Joe that he has opened up his own restaurant and navigated the whole pandemic. And it seems like it's doing really well. I miss him. The Bulls are doing well. He's got to be on just cloud nine with the Chicago Bulls season. So I just looking at this press release for season 19 Houston, Kevin, Joe Flam will be making an appearance in this season. So I know that he signed all the NDAs, but I guess this isn't the last time you're going to see Joe over the next couple months. You're going to see him on this program.
Very exciting. Huge Joe Flam fan. Gave us the royal treatment. Place was packed on a Tuesday night in winter. Things are going well here in Chi-Town. Had a great meal last night at the Loyalist. I highly recommend. Supposedly has the best burger in the country. I, of course, have given up the red meat, but I had 2 delicious items. An ocean trout and a beet tartare was the best I've ever had. Chicago continues to impress culinarily. But I want to tell you, Tom, as you know, one of the great sleeper food cities in the United States of America is Houston, Texas.
Yeah, I've been there a couple times for work, but I can't say that I've eaten the town. I've gone to a couple places. It's a sprawling city, a huge city, one of the most populous cities in America, very diverse. I haven't really scratched the surface with Houston. So tell me about Houston as a culinary destination.
One of my favorite restaurants in America, and I don't say that a lot, this is truly in my top 10, is Nancy's Hustle. Nancy's Hustle, which is open late most nights. It's kind of clubby looking and yet completely unpretentious. Had a half chicken there, lamb tartare, green salad. It's open late, as I said, most nights, so you can go post-game if you don't got it right. Also, Theodore Rex, the Dutch crunch roll, the tomato toast, the Wagyu ribeye at Theodore Rex, two of the best meals I had in 2019. And they opened this little, like, mini food court downtown where there is a small sushi counter that flies in fish daily from Tokyo. And it's called Kokoro. And it became, I think, lunch 3 days in a row. So, and Vietnamese food. Got to go get some Vietnamese food in Houston. The Bun Moi Hue at Duc Chong number 3. Fantastic. I mean, it was one meal after another. I didn't even get to the Tex-Mex environment. I didn't even, explore soul food scene. It was just one great meal after another.
Yeah, because Top Chef, I was a little surprised they went with Houston because there's, they haven't done Atlanta. You're still campaigning for Atlanta.
Where's Atlanta?
And so they didn't do Atlanta. They've done Texas before, but not Houston. They hit Dallas and Austin and kind of the other Texan cities. But Houston is a really great cast, it looks like. We'll get into that in a little bit. But I watched the Top Chef season 19 trailer, Kevin, and there's lots of little Easter eggs in here, lots of things to note down. But more so than that, we're seeing a lot of familiar faces. I think one thing we've learned about Top Chef over the past few years is they're kind of dipping back into the well of their Top Chef alumni a lot more, whether it's the season all-stars or whether it's just having last year in Portland, a lot of the alumni back into the show, not competing, but there for every quickfire with Padma. They've really leaned on the universe, the Top Chef universe. And this season for Houston, the catch, or I guess not the gimmick, but the twist on this season is that every episode we're going to have a Top Chef alumni attached to it. We're also going to get like a local culinary or national culinary icon paired up with the Top Chef alumni. So, Kevin, it's not just about the new cast we got to talk about. It's the returning cast. Did you see who's coming back for this season?
I mean, you had mentioned a couple of things. I mean, one thing I really like, and you just mentioned it, is one of the strengths of the show, and it's kind of a benefit that's compounded each season, is that there are like these recurring characters, right? Like somebody wins or someone, makes it to the finale. They're a great personality. And by the way, like over from the moment they kind of were in the show to the present moment, they've gotten to be even better as chefs. And so you have these recurring characters, which, makes you even more vested in the show than you otherwise would be. So Tom, tell me, who are some of the faces I can expect to see in this season?
Okay, so spoiler alert, if you don't want to know these names, then you can skip over this.
That's
but it's
not really
a spoiler. Really?
It's like you get to know who's going to be the cast of the show you're about to watch.
Yeah. You know that Jennifer Aniston and Reese Witherspoon are on Morning Show and Steve Carell before you watch it. So I'm not spoiling anything.
That's a terrible show, by the way.
It's kind of a guilty pleasure for
awful.
The acting or the actual show? Do you think it's you're too inside baseball? You know this media thing.
No, I like inside baseball. It's just awful. As melodrama, as just sort of a bad version of sort of a dramatization of the current climate and culture. Like, it's awful.
And no one needs to relive the pandemic. Season 2 is like the start of the pandemic, parallel life. And it's just like, no one needs to go back to that. So this isn't pack your morning show papers and leave, right? This is not that show. But we got to talk about this cast. Naisha Arrington, Kelsey Barnard Clark, Adrian Cheatham, Tiffany Derry, Joe Flam, aforementioned Joe Flam, Gregory Gourdet, he's back.
A great fixture.
Hung Nguyen, Stephanie Izard, the Queen, Melissa King, Ed Lee, your favorite, Nene Wynn.
Love Nene.
Kwame Onwuachi, and then we have Claudette Zepeda. our favorite Claudette from a few years ago. We had her on the pod, and she was really fun with us. So a really good crew.
Claudette, I need to get down to San Diego. We want to take the dog down to San Diego for a long weekend. We've never traveled with him, and that is on the agenda for 2022.
Wait, can you bring me along? Because I want to go and see Mr. Malarkey as well. Isn't he in San Diego?
Absolutely. It'd be a great trip. Also because, like, the Padres ballpark is Petco Park, as you know, and they have, like, Bark at the Park Day. So you get to bring your dog to a Major League Baseball game, which is something I'm dying to do. Except Howard's going to eat every friggin' thing.
But I don't know. I'm weird about this, and I'm a dog lover, and we're actually in the market for a dog. We'll talk about that offline, Kevin. But they got to go somewhere, right? Like in the ballpark. Do you want to be dealing with all that, stuff everywhere? The shit?
No, they have designated places. It's like a dog park, literally.
I don't know if I trust other dogs, though.
I trust my guy. Anyway.
Do you know something about Houston that I didn't know, Kevin? Is that the Rockets didn't start in Houston. The Houston Rockets came from San Diego.
Yes. Rick Adelman was on the first team as a player.
Oh, that is so cool. The San Diego Rockets. I just kind of assumed Houston was the birthplace of the Houston Rockets. Is there a better pairing, like a better second city for a team name than Houston with the Rockets? Like Utah Jazz is famously just like the Utah Jazz taking the New Orleans Jazz name. Awful.
So off the charts bad that it's awesome.
It's just on the other end of the spectrum that it's so bad that it's good.
Right, exactly.
So the Houston Rockets, I guess, picked up the San Diego Rockets after they kind of almost folded back in the 60s. And the Houston Rockets had a couple down years. I don't think either of us are going down there for the playoffs anytime soon to cover Houston. But I do know that this is going to be an interesting season, not just because of all the past chefs coming on. One thing that's interesting is Shota, I believe, is coming back this season. I don't know if I had him on that list that I just read you, but also Maria Mazzone from last season, my beloved Maria. Mm-hmm. And the big name, I guess I left this last season off that original roster. The big name for this season is Dawn Burrell. Kevin, this is going to be Dawn's season. The Houston chef. I think I saw in the preview, the trailer, that she's like on a field. There might be some teams involved. And Dawn, who was a very, very poor choice for trading her away early in the season last year. You must be excited to have Dawn back in your life, huh?
I am. And we'll talk about our coming draft and whatever picks. I think we have some outstanding picks to reconcile. Or maybe we don't. I don't know. You're the great scorekeeper. You got a chance to look at the 15 contestants. Really interesting group. Anything to stand out to you, either individually or trend or just kind of general feel? Like, what do we think? I kind of feel like we're advanced scouting here. What do we think?
I think I saw more Michelin star restaurants on their resumes than I can remember ever, besides an all-star season with like accomplished chefs that have already competed on the show. It does seem like a lot more decorated, accolades-wise, staff or roster for this year. A lot of Michelin star restaurants, it's worldly. We have a couple chefs that are not American that are either South Korea or Australia. They're coming in from around the world. So I feel like when we're looking at this roster, it is a much more diverse group. Reading the bios, I noticed that a lot of these chefs are in business with their spouses. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, is that a pandemic thing, you think? Is that just like chefs, maybe their restaurant shut down, and so they're going to have to get creative and start businesses with their spouses? But yeah, we have a really good roster, I think, Kevin.
Yeah, it's also interesting. There seem to be more contestants, and to your point, and I think one of the examples you're talking about is Evelyn Garcia, who is in an enterprise with her husband called Kin HTX in Houston. So she's got a home field advantage. But there are a lot of chefs who've done pop-ups. We have Ashley Shanti, who does a fish fry pop-up in Asheville. Bless her heart. There's a great fish fry pop-up in my neighborhood called Little Fish in Echo Park in Los Angeles. But she's in a pop-up. Evelyn, in addition, one of the branches of Kin HTX are pop-ups in addition to selling products. As you mentioned, Jaejung, who has a pop-up, Korean Cajun pop-up in New York City called Kjun, Kjun. And so what I've noticed is, you have people who are coming through the ranks as chefs, but there are a lot of people in business for themselves. Nick Wallace in Jackson, Mississippi, does catering, events, kind of what I would call civic cooking in Jackson, Mississippi. Sam Kang, it was a sous chef at Mamafuku Co., but now is teaching kids about food. I mean, that's his job now. And then there's this mystery guest, Luke Kulpen, who worked at Noma in Copenhagen, which, as you know, is regarded as maybe the best restaurant in the world. And worked at a place on the west lake side of Lake Union in Chicago, but doesn't seem to be employed right now. And so I just think there's, it used to be you came up through the traditional restaurant line, right? And then you get to sous chef, and then you're executive chef or chef de cuisine. And now it looks like there's just more ways in. And I do think that might be a function of the pandemic, but sort of hey, I'm in it for myself as a pop-up, as a small entrepreneur. Frankly, commercial rents have gotten so expensive in these cities that's kind of how you do have to start unless you got major financing lined up.
And I do think also with this cast, there is one person that stood out to me that is, I don't know if the favorite, I don't want to, leak my own big board here, but Leah Gaccioni, she is from Morristown, New Jersey. She's the chef and owner of South and Pine. Her bio, I didn't know this. She's appeared on Iron Chef America, Beat Bobby Flay, Iron Chef Showdown, Chopped, and is the host of the documentary film Her Name is Chef. Kevin, she's a pro.
She's literally a professional cooking competitor.
Yeah.
She is professional. She does cooking competition shows practically for a living, but also apparently has a wonderful place in suburban New Jersey. But you're right. Look at those credits. And as I think you're right in the sense that, as we learn, so much of Top Chef is time management. It's kind of knowing how to compete, making decisions on the fly. I'm with you. I gotta believe that Chef Caccioni must have an advantage, having played all these various games in all these different settings. This is old hat. She is not going to melt under the bright lights. She's like one of those European ball players that when they come to the draft, it's this guy's been playing pro ball since he was 14, he's Luka. That's who she is.
She's Luka Doncic, where it's he's 18 coming over, but he's been playing in EuroLeagues for 5 years,
exactly.
Right? So I thought she's really interesting. The hometown chef, Evelyn Garcia, you mentioned, is the only one from Texas, or at least, the only one from Houston. But there's also Joe Chan, who's Austin, Texas. And Joe Chan has a star-studded pedigree. You got Jonathan Waxman and Marcus Samuelson. And I have to mention, also a dog lover. She lives with her beautiful fiance, who is an English professor. This is from the bio at Texas State University. And they're two perfect dogs, Blue and Luna. So I know that Joe Chan is going to be high on your board just from that.
Yeah. Also, I'm dying to know what a traveling exec chef for Marcus Samuelson. Does that mean that as he does food events around the world, you're sort of the exec chef as he kind of works the quote front of the house? And, because when you do these sort of celebrity you go to the New York City, they're hosting these 5 chefs from out of town, and you got to play front of the house. And I don't know if that's what that means. Her place where she's an exec chef in Austin is Eberly, which is a few doors down from Uchi, which I think you've been to. I've been to a bunch of times on South Lamar. It's a great stretch, kind of parallel to South Congress in Austin, which, in terms of burgeoning food scenes, it's not even fair to call it burgeoning anymore. It's just there. But you're right. I did earmark Joe Chan. Very excited about her appearance. It's such an interesting group. I don't so much earmarked for competitive purposes because I don't know how she'll perform. But Monique Febesi, and I butchered that. I have no idea. She did this great world tour when she trained, like Copenhagen. She worked at Pavilion Ledoyen in Paris, which I think is a 3 Michelin star joint. And what is she doing now? She has a contemporary patisserie in Vallejo, in suburban Vallejo across the bridge, right? So it's a case of somebody saying, you know what? I had some bright lights. You know what I want to run? A bakery in my smaller community. kind of like Nick Wallace in Jackson, Mississippi. It's like, it does seem like there are more chefs who are saying, I'll go in it for myself.
I believe she also has a spouse that they went on in this bakery together with. And I think, those family episodes later in the season, how much pride those family members are going to have, especially when you're in business and doing a restaurant or a bakery together. Man, that's going to be a lot of pressure, but also a lot of excitement for that family. Another name that jumped out to me is Sarah Welch. Sarah Welch, for me, the thing that stuck out to me is she's got a restaurant named Marrow. Okay. A restaurant named Marrow. I love bone marrow. I think it's just, you could put it on anything as a butter. It's absurd whenever the bone marrow comes to your table, how quickly I just inhale that thing. And I find that, she's already gotten like some James Beard Foundation recognition. Mm-hmm. So she's got some credibility, and she's coming from Michigan as well.
I want to encourage you something before you go on to another contestant. So, Tom, you know how when we go to these restaurants, bone marrow is kind of an expensive appetizer, treated a little bit like a delicacy.
Yeah.
And you pay up the nose for it. Let me tell you something, my friend.
Listener, listen up. This is important, okay? I'm going to try to save you some money here. If you're still overpaying for wireless, it's time to say yes to saying no. At Mint Mobile, their favorite word is no. You may think like, oh, that's bad. No contracts, no monthly bills, no overages. No hidden fees, no BS. Here's why I said yes to making the switch and getting premium wireless for $15 a month. You heard that correctly. $15 per month. Ditch overpriced wireless and the jaw-dropping monthly bills. And of course, there are all these hidden fees and stuff, but at Mint Mobile, plans start at $15 per month. All the plans come with high-speed data, unlimited talk and text. You're not doing like weekend and nighttime minutes or anything like that. And it's delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Use your own phone. Don't have to get a new phone. Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and bring your phone number along with all of your existing contacts. I switched months ago. People have asked, did you actually switch? Yes, I actually switched months ago, and I don't know what to do with all this extra money. I've cheated the system here. I've rigged something. This is an Ocean's 11 situation where I'm stealing wireless from Mint. That's how good a deal it is. Ready to say yes to saying no? Make the switch at mintmobile.com/dings. That's DINGS. That's mintmobile.com/dings. Upfront payment of $45 required, equivalent to $15 per month. Limited time new customer offer for first 3 months only. Speeds may slow above 35 gigabytes on unlimited plan. Taxes and fees extra. See Mint Mobile for details.
Hello, listener. It's Producer Maze here to talk to you about Quince and their cookware. Cooler nights mean cozy meals at home, and Quince's cookware has made fall cooking so much more enjoyable. Their pieces deliver the quality and performance of luxury brands, but at a price that makes sense. And they look gorgeous on the stovetop, too. No matter what item you need to complete your kitchen, Quince has you covered. With 5-ply stainless steel pots and pans, nonstick skillets, chef-quality knives, and even ceramic bakeware, which is perfect for cozy casseroles or Sunday roasts. And when you look at these prices, you might think, how is Quince doing this? How do they deliver high-quality items similar to high-end brands that are half the price? Well, let me tell you, they partner directly with ethical top-tier factories to cut out the middlemen and pass the savings on to you. And it's not just cookware. I got myself some bath sheets. That's right. When you're a tall man, you have to use bath sheets, not bath towels from Quince. It's like drying off with the cloud. It's incredible. Upgrade your kitchen for cozy fall meals with premium cookware from Quince. Go to quince.com/dings for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/dings, DINGS, to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/dings. Hello, listener. It's Producer Maze here to talk to you about Kindred. Now, close your eyes like Owen Wilson during a job interview and imagine a way to travel that feels personal, comfortable, and connected without the price tags and the sterile feelings of hotels or short-term rentals. Now open your eyes and stop using your imagination because Kindred has made it very real. That's exactly what they do. Kindred is a members-only home swapping network. It's not a hotel. It's not a short-term rental. It's a smarter way to travel where each stay feels like home. Here's how it works. With Kindred, your home is your ticket. You earn credits by hosting fellow Kindred members, and then you use those credits to stay in over 220,000 homes in more than 100 cities worldwide. There are no hotel costs or rental fees, just the credits that you've earned. Every stay comes with white glove service, 24/7 trip support, and $100,000 in host protection. Make it easier for you to travel and enjoy yourself and not worry about details. I've used Kindred and I found an amazing home for a weekend getaway in an idyllic location with amazing views and great ambiance. It had everything I needed. And the best part was, it cost me $0. So apply now at livekindred.com and use code DINGS to join for free. Plus, you'll earn 5 nights of travel credit just for signing up. That's right, that's 5 whole nights for free at livekindred, KINDRED.com, code DINGS, DINGS, livekindred.com, code DINGS.
This episode is brought to you by 20th Century Studios' new film, Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere, starring Golden Globe winner Jeremy Allen White and Academy Award nominee Jeremy Strong. Scott Cooper, the director of the Academy Award-winning movie Crazy Heart, brings you the story of the most pivotal chapter in the life of an icon. Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere. Only in theaters October 24th. Get your tickets now.
The family that vacations together stays together. At least, that was the plan. Except now, the Dastardly desk clerk is saying he can't confirm your connecting rooms.
Wait, what?
That's right, ma'am. You have rooms 201 and 709.
No, we cannot be 5 floors away from our kids.
The doors have double locks. They'll be fine.
When you want connecting rooms confirmed before you arrive, it matters where you stay.
Welcome to Hilton. I see your connecting rooms are already confirmed.
Hilton, for the stay.
I don't know if you got a butcher in Charlotte, North Carolina that you like, but I got a place in La Crescenta, which is kind of up the 2 freeway, a little bit on the in the foothills in Los Angeles. You can get the truth. The dirty secret is marrow's like throwaway.
It's a throwaway.
You can get like a bag of marrow for nothing. And then what's great about it, Tom, is do you know how hard it is to prepare marrow? Add salt, roast in oven. Yeah. End of story.
Yeah.
Like you should be, if you love marrow, and I did this before I gave it up, like you need to be finding your butcher, calling them up and say, hey, I want to get some marrow. It's going to be cheap. It is easy to make. You can impress your dinner guests. You can impress your wife. And you should be doing this. Everybody who loves that dish, it's the easiest, cheapest thing. You don't need to go to the gastropub and pay $25 for it.
In Miami, we would go and pick it up at the local Publix, and we would go to the butcher at the grocery store, and they would just like give it to us almost for free, right? And then you go and we would go sit outside on the Biscayne Bay at the grill by the pool at our friend's place, and we would grill it in some aluminum foil, and it'd get really hot, and you'd pull it off the grill, but then there'd be like some residual marrow in that little pan on the grill. Throw some broccoli in there, throw some onions in there, just throw some veggies on there and let it roast in there in the grill. Grill it up with some bone marrow. Oh, it is so good. It is so good. So shouts to Sarah for having a restaurant where she's the executive chef of Marrow and partner. Sorry. So that's Sarah. Good for Sarah. Thank you for that instructional video on Marrow. Because look, everyone listening to this pod probably already likes Marrow. Very high Q rating amongst the Top Chef fans, I'm guessing.
So I noticed that Alinea and the Alinea group is sort of well represented. As you know, Alinea in Chicago, kind of synonymous with gastro, molecular cooking. And because I'm in Chicago, Damar Brown is the chef de cuisine at Virtue, which was nominated, or their exec chef, his mentor, Eric Williams, was nominated yesterday as a semifinalist for the Beard. Damar trained at Royster at Fulton Market, right down the street from Mr. Flam's restaurant. And Jackson Kelb, who is a young chef in Los Angeles, has a place I have not been.
Yeah, I was going to say, Kevin, give me a scouting report on this guy.
I have not been to Ospi in Venice, which is an Italian joint. However, my friend, LA Times critic Bill Addison, is all about the crispy provolone with the vodka sauce. So, and he is Alinea, Union Square Cafe, another guy, as you said, who really came up through some really prestigious restaurants in big cities. He's got his own shop now, and I need to go to Osby, perhaps, if you're staying on the West Side one of these days. That's an away game for me, but I do love the cooking in Venice, Jelena, a bunch of classics over there. So that is his deal. And he's an interesting contestant.
Yeah, I love that one. And you know what? He might be coming from the Joe Flam tree because, south side of Chicago, like Joe. Maybe Joe's in his ear a little bit about, some tips, and he's got a little bit of an advantage there because, I don't know, something in the water there in south side Chicago lends itself to top chef victories. So Joe Flam there. There's Damar Brown. Another one, we kind of touched on earlier about the Jae Jung. Korean Cajun.
Yep.
Cornering the market on Korean Cajun. I'm so fascinated by that, Kevin. What do you think of that?
I looked at the menu. I went on. Now she's between, I think it was like a pop-up, and it's going to reopen soon. But she has a dish, because I looked at her Instagram. It's seafood gumbo with a side of okra kimchi.
Ooh.
And she came up in New Orleans, which I think is one of the explanations at Herb Saint, at August. So she's sort of a graduate of the New Orleans school. And I'm all about it. If we're ever in New York at the same time, Korean Cajun pop-up, that's fantastic. Ashley Shanti, I mentioned, is another pop-up chef. However, she was nominated for a beard, I believe, as the chef de cuisine in Asheville, North Carolina. I know one of your favorite places. Love Western Carolina.
North Carolina, come on and stand up.
Benny on Eagle, which is inside the Foundry Hotel right in central Asheville. And again, though, a fish fry pop-up. Gotta love that. Love me a fish fry.
Yeah, representing the state of North Carolina. Speaking of North states, Stephanie Miller, North Dakota. Kevin, give me a scouting report on North Dakota. Bismarck, have you been?
I have been to Fargo and the outlying counties that are just to the west of Fargo. Eric and I love small county historical societies. So we drove 45 minutes out of Fargo where we were running a half marathon, as when I was trying to run one in every state before my back broke. And it didn't literally break. It just got compressed and I had to give it up. But we went to the county that is so proud of the fact that the nuclear warheads that come out of the ground in like Nuke Russia are in their county. And it was a big feature in their county museum. And it's part of the county pride. And I love that part of North Dakota. Have not been to Bismarck, which is much smaller than Fargo. But what I really love, Tom, is I like a chef from a small city. We always get these folks from the New Yorks and the San Franciscos and trained in Paris. But I love somebody that comes from rural America, very excited to see how she does.
Yeah, the last thing in her bio says her state pride with menu items including lefse, bison, and kuchen. I know what bison is. I don't know the other two.
All right, I'm going to tell you about lefse. I don't know if it's still there in Portland, Oregon. But there was a great food truck called Viking Soul Food. And what it featured was lefse, which is essentially it's like a Scandinavian, I guess you'd call it maybe a crepe or a flatbread.
Is it a crepe? Yeah.
The one I loved was filled with smoked salmon. So there's definitely, as you know, a very kind of, that's the Lutheran Scandinavian part of the country. So not a surprise. And she kind of cut her teeth in Minneapolis down the road there. So I know what lefse is. What is kuchen? That I do not know. Let's search that one.
Yeah, let's see. A compound kuchen injection.
Oh, it's a cake. German cake.
A German cake. Okay, so she's got dessert. It's always good to have that in your repertoire, is having a good pastry or a good dessert on this show. It reminds me of when that Alaskan chef, I think was it Colorado, where there was like an Alaskan chef that basically only cooked with like caveman toolkit, like tools at her disposal. And it was just like, oh, that is super fun.
Yeah. So
I kind of feel like having her on the show is going to bring a nice little curveball to season 19. And, speaking of curveballs, there's not much here in terms of twists. We're going to have Padma, Gail, and Tom back. The invitation is out right now. Magical Elves or anyone at Bravo or on Top Chef. Padma, we haven't had her on the show. The invitation has been sent out. Anytime, the door is open for Padma to come on to the show. We got Tom, we got Gail. And if you haven't listened to those episodes, go back.
Oh, so
It
much
is
fun.
The best. We had the best time with those two. And like, we have, Kevin, you and I probably have this image of what it's like to interview Tom Colicchio and Gail Simmons, and they just completely surpassed all those expectations. They say don't meet your heroes, but guess what? That's bullshit sometimes.
Everything I was hoping and expecting from Gail Simmons and more. God, we got to bring her back. All right, so who haven't we discussed? I'm gonna kind of run down.
Yeah.
In fairness, Buddha Lowe is an I think am I right that he's Cantonese Australian? Moved to London to work at Gordon Ramsay. Then did another powerhouse training, right? 11 Madison Park, and now he is the exec chef in a place I don't know because I'm not huge on New York. At Huso, which is kind of a tasting course place inside Marky's Caviar shop on Madison Avenue, which is really interesting. Caviar is one of those things that I know I would kind of totally get into it if I had like fuck you money, basically.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to apologize to my sister whose kids listen and really love this show. So that's the only time I'll use, but it was in context, right? Like, I don't know.
I said bullshit earlier. Again, I'm sorry.
We're going to clean it up a little this year. So that's interesting. Robert Hernandez is a private chef in San Francisco. We talked about kind of the trend of, a lot of chefs pulling back from restaurants. He worked at Octavia, which is reputed to be a great place. Haven't eaten there near Japantown as chef de cuisine, but now, doing his own thing. And I really like Sam Kane. So this guy, sous chef at Momofuku Co., great place. Had a great meal there, thanks to my cousin a few years ago. What does he do now?
11 Madison Park, another 11 Madison graduate. But he didn't go with the Buddha Low row. What did he do, Kevin?
What did he do? He decided, I'm going to teach kids about food. And that is what he does professionally now, which is pretty cool.
How cool is that?
Yeah, very cool.
Do we talk about Nick Wallace from Jackson, Mississippi?
Right. And so another person kind of sort of self-enterprise, right? And I mentioned him earlier. He does catering. There's important museums in Jackson, Mississippi. He's the kind of the museum cafe, I would mention director or chef. He does lots of events and, again, what I call civic cooking in Jackson, Mississippi. Again, a smaller city representative, which I really, really like.
I got to ask my neighbor. He's a big pit smoker, roasts pig, like a Carolina barbecue, but he's from Jackson, Mississippi, outside of Jackson. So I got to ask him about my man, Nick Wallace here. I think I'm rooting hardest for Ashley, just my state pride in North Carolina. We don't get too many North Carolina chefs on Top Chef. So it is really, 15 contestants. I think we hit them all here. And we got, I think if you're doing an average, average PER of these chefs, I think they're all pretty high. It's not as high as an all-star season, but it seems like based on these resumes that we have some very accomplished, very decorated chefs here. And they're also a lot more worldly than I thought we would have this season. And I think that fits nicely with the whole melting pot of Houston, Texas as the backdrop. With
me, the rooting interest is I'll see. Bios are great.
Oh, that's a lame take.
No. I want to look. At the end of the day, I'm rooting not for resumes. I'm rooting for chefs. And to say nothing of the fact that, let's be honest, Tom, we root for our team. And this is tribal. And so who am I rooting for? I'm rooting for the guy and the gal who ain't on your team.
Oh, there it is. Way better answer.
Yes. I'm really curious. I'm going to see. The truth is that I think like you, and I think you're in this category too, is I want to see how they cook. There's kinds of cooking I'm drawn to. And I don't mean just in terms of flavor profile or from this continent. I mean just sort of stylistically. I like chefs who are very process-oriented because I'm anal, right? I did love Dawn, but it drove me crazy. And she was on my team. But I'm a sucker for presentation. I like cleanliness in terms of, but I think that's kind of my thing is I'm not ready, but I am excited for our draft.
I totally forgot. I had it in a separate category, Kevin, but we have season 10, Kristen Kitsch, Sheldon Simeon, and Brooke Williamson on the show. So if you're counting at home, we have 3 contestants returning from season 10 and 3 contestants returning from last year's season. Does that mean, Kevin, they're the most, by the way, of any season? They have 3 from season 10's Seattle and in season 18 last year in Portland. Do you think that means, Kevin, I posit to you, that Magical Elves believes that the best season of Top Chef is season 10 because that's the one that they've brought back the most on this show?
The answer to the question, what is your favorite season, for me, has always been 10 and 12. That was a great, we had Brooke, who's a fixture now.
Yep.
We had Sheldon. Obviously, Kristen won. It was sort of it was a fun group. And I was a fan.
Yeah.
I think it's great. And those are great characters. I mean, those are, and I don't mean characters as in haha. I mean characters just like they have great stories. They had really interesting trajectories and arcs as characters on the show. So I'm all for it.
Last thing here, I saw alligator in the preview. I've had fried alligator. I haven't had like grilled alligator yet. There was a chef who loses his sense of smell and taste. And in the COVID era, Kevin, I'm a little nervous about that. I'm like, wait a minute, what does that mean? So that's that. He says, I'm terrified in the clip.
Wait, which contestant is it?
I think it might be Luke, or I don't know.
Wow. Or maybe that's why he's been off. That's fascinating. Like, I don't think they're going to do very well at that herb blindfold thing.
Yeah, there are a couple. There's a return of that Top Chef France or Top Chef Paris, I think it was, where they have to create 2 identical looking dishes that taste completely different, which is really fun. They're going to bring back Restaurant Wars, and it's kind of a blend of the most recent ones where there's going to be a chef's tasting menu, but also there's going to be some guests there, but it's not going to be a full-blown restaurant, it doesn't seem. And Kevin, we have a special guest this season, your pal, friend of the program. Where is he based now? Hershey.
Oh, Hershey Ashes in Houston. Hershey does not know that he has been invited, but he is going to be, and we'll figure it out. Like, obviously some episodes focus more on the local scene than others. We'll get him in. Hershey's fantastic. Also a great Restaurant War analyst because he has been in so many real life Restaurant Wars. So that should be fun. There's major requests for Mina Kimes. We will go after Mina. We're not in football season, which helps our cause.
That's right.
Because she is slammed during NFL season as one of the best analysts on the planet. And we got a lot in store. Tom, any closing thoughts as we prep for the draft? We got to get in the draft room in the next week. I got to really watch the first episode and get in the draft room.
It's my favorite episode of Pack Your Knives, the draft episode. I'll get to my notes and figure out the draft swaps and future first round picks or whatever we did in past seasons, whether we're going to make any trades this year. I can't wait for the draft. It is super fun. Kevin, I'm just so glad to be doing this again. It's great to have you back. And I think our fans have been clamoring for us to do a preview episode. We should have done this earlier, but now that I can see the preview, it is so close I can taste it. I'm so excited for Pack Your Knives to return and can't wait to watch Thursday night. And the schedule is going to be hopefully working like a machine this year. The hope is that we will be able to get these episodes out right after the episode. So Pack Your Knives recap of the episode, hopefully overnight, so you can listen to that during the morning while you get your kids up or get the breakfast going. You can listen to the show recap after Thursday night. So I'm super excited, Kevin. Let's do this.
For Tom Haberstra, this is Kevin Arnovitz, and this is Pack Your Knives.